Are we live? Yep. All right, everyone. So here we are, live yet again. I think it's like the third time we're live this week. And you have to admit, not a lot of content creators are doing this. It's mostly just me. So, just going to tell some people. Okay, okay. All right, everyone. So this show, it's going to be, so basically we all know the Raiders need a wide receiver. And, the NFL draft, it can be one of the major ways that the Raiders are going to add a receiver for next year, the 2025 season. Before we start, we're just going to try to fill up the chat and everything. Let's get some questions so that as soon as I finish this, I can just answer some questions. Um, can you mute for a little bit until you say something? You have to say something? Can you mute your mic on your phone until you have to say something? Please? All right. So, I'm ready. You guys ready? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Real Crazy News Raiders. Coming up on today's show, we're going to be talking about NFL wide receivers that the Raiders can draft in the NFL draft. I have a tier list set up, ready to go, and I'm going to be ranking them on an order of where I think the Raiders should take them and how they fit in this Raiders offense. So, the first guy I want to talk about, hold on, the live stream froze. Good? Oh, wait, no, it didn't. All right, pull up the tier list, please. So, I can't, I can't see it. Wide receiver, Tedero McMillan. So, McMillan, also known as T-Mac, is, in my opinion, one of the best receivers in this class, if not the best. McMillan, he's 6'5", and he's just a beast. He's like 210 pounds, and he can make any deep ball count as like a 80% catch, 20% drop rate, just because of how big he is and how aggressive he is. He will bring this Raiders team a true X receiver, and he will open up this Raiders offense immediately. So Tedero McMillan, he's all the way on the right there. We're gonna put him into S tier. That's how good I think he is. Just to let you know, S tier is the elite. Then we're gonna go to A tier, which is like good, but like a second round pick. Then we're gonna go to B tier, and that's like average, and they're sleepers. So Tedero McMillan, for a while, I really thought that he was the best wide receiver in this class, and I still think that he fits this Raiders offense the best. But I have to admit, lately, this next guy that we're going to talk about has me thinking like, wow, this guy is the best player in the draft, best wide receiver in the draft. So the next guy is Matthew Golden. Golden's honestly one of my favorite players in this draft. Golden is projected on the top 15 picks, so if the Raiders wanted to take him, they would either have to trade down or they would have to take him at number 6. Matthew Golden, he's 5'11". He ran the fastest 40-yard dash in the combine for a wide receiver, and he's really going to help this Raiders offense out. Here's the only problem. The Raiders already have a true field stretcher in Trey Tucker. The only thing is, what if the Raiders don't have a lot of confidence in Trey Tucker? I have a solid amount of confidence in him, but you have to admit, he hasn't shown that much over the years, shown that he can be that true receiver. I don't know if he's going to be, turn into one of the best players, but I really hope that the Raiders figure out a way to get Trey Tucker in the ball more, because I think he can be a great player. Matthew Golden, he's a deep threat, but he's also got amazing hands. Some people see him as the best wide receiver in the draft. And if it wasn't for how big McMillan was, I would say Matthew Golden's the best wide receiver in this class. He's got elite routes. He's fast. He's got everything you want in a wide receiver. So next guy we're going to talk about. Oh, by the way, Matthew Golden. We're going to put him in the tier list. He's also A tier. Um, Matthew Golden. He is He's the guy, I think, all the way on the right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's all the way on the right also. Yeah, so, yeah, he's A tier. No, he's S tier. I'm sorry, he's S tier. Then next up, we have wide receiver slash cornerback from Colorado, Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter, he's a generational talent, and he won the Heisman. Not a lot of players have come out of college and won the Heisman that have played cornerback and wide receiver. No one's really done it at all and competed at a high level. So if he does play wide receiver and cornerback in the league, it'll be something special, and he as ever. Um, as of him as a wide receiver, because that's what we're judging on, I'm still going to put him in S tier. Travis Hunter, he's one of the best wide receivers in this class. He's fast, he's got good routes, and I really think that he can still compete at a high level and still be a great player in this Raiders offense. He's projected to go in the top 5 picks, and if I had to guess, he's going to go top 3. So if the Raiders did want him, they would likely have to trade up. Trading up for Travis Hunter isn't my favorite idea, because Travis Hunter, he says he's going to play wide receiver and cornerback. He might. But also, what if he gets hurt? What about all these problems? So to trade up to number 3 with the Giants, you're going to have to give up a lot. Later in the show, we might call up a Giants fan and see how much it does cost to get the number 3 overall pick. But, like I said, Travis Hunter, he's a good wide receiver, but I'd rather take a guy like Matthew Golden or Tetairoa McMillan. So that's going to be it for S tier. And next up, we got tier 2, which is A tier. So tier 2, they're like solid starters, and they're going to be guys that can develop into better players. So next up, we have Luther Burden III. Burden can play all over the field for the Raiders, and he can make an impact in year 1. He's one of the best wide receivers in college football this year from Missouri, and he could fit this Raiders offense. The only thing is Burden is projecting on the first round, but he's not projected to go at number 6. Raiders would most likely trade down to get him, or if they wanted, they could just take him at number 6, which is very unlikely. But the more realistic option is for them to just trade up, trade back into the first round, give up maybe a second, a third, and maybe like a next year's third to get a first round pick and take Luther Burden. I like Luther Burden. He's got nice speed, he's got nice hands, but I still think that Travis Hunter, McMillan, and Matthew Golden are the better receivers. So we're going to put that guy into here. He's from Missouri. All right. So next up, we got Emeka Egbuka. So Egbuka is another wide receiver that I really like in this draft class. In my opinion, he has the second best fit in this Raiders offense. Egbuka already has ties to this Raiders offense due to Chip Kelly, who's the Raiders offensive coordinator. He was the offensive coordinator at Ohio State, where Emeka Egbuka played. So having a guy that knows Chip Kelly's system is really going to help out, especially as a rookie. Because, drafting a guy that has no idea what an NFL offense looks like, that's going to be tough. But Emeka Egbuka, he already knows how Chip Kelly runs his offense, and that's really going to help him out. So Egbuka, he's a nice receiver. He runs a 4.3 40-yard dash, and he automatically fits in this offense. Getting a guy who already knows Chip Kelly is huge, and that could be a major reason why the Raiders could take him. He is projecting in the first round like everyone else, so he would have to be trading down, or the Raiders would have to trade up into the first round later. So his stats are 81 receptions, which are a lot for college football, 1,011 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns, and he's averaging 12.5 yards per catch. That 12.5 yards per catch is very good, and that shows that he's good at getting first downs, and it can really help Geno Smith out. And I really do like Emeka Egbuka, and I think he's one of the best wide receivers in this draft class. Next up, we have another guy who's by the way, Emeka Egbuka is a B tier. He went to Ohio State. And after that, we got Trey Harris. Trey Harris is from Ole Miss, and honestly, probably one of the biggest sleepers in this draft class. I like Trey Harris a lot, and he's not being talked about enough. He's a great receiver for Ole Miss, and I'd be thrilled if the Raiders drafted him. He's 6'2", and that's really going to help, him being an X wide receiver. His stats are 60 receptions, 1,030 yards, 7 touchdowns, 17.2 averages per reception. So Trey Harris, like I said, he's just not being talked about enough. He can truly turn into an X wide receiver, and he can turn into that guy. Third down, throw it up to him, he'll catch it. This guy's projecting in the second to third rounds. So if the Raiders don't take a guy in round one, I really do expect them to look at Trey Harris in the second round to take him. And I would be happy if they did. I'd be completely fine with it. He's not being talked about enough, and I really do think he can turn into a wide receiver. He's also going to go into A tier. Emeka Egbuka is also A tier, by the way. So, next up, yeah, sorry, I know I said B tier. Emeka Egbuka is A tier. Next up, all of these guys, just to make it clear, he's going to be B tier. So, these guys are B tier. These guys are B tier. Xavier Restrepo is our next guy. Restrepo is a player that the Raiders can target in the third round, more of a later round guy. But here's the only thing. He doesn't really fit into this Raiders offense. Bowers is a wide receiver, and like he was last season. I really hope that they do not move Bowers around because that would just be dumb. He had a record-breaking season last year, and if they do move him out of the slot, this is the guy the Raiders could look to target. Restrepo's a guy who's a slot receiver. He's kind of like Julian Edelman with the Patriots, and if he does play slot wide receiver for the Raiders, he can turn into a great player. But like I said before, we already have Brock Bowers, and I'll be very disappointed if they move Brock Bowers out of the slot. But if they did move him out of the slot, the top guy on the target is Restrepo. So next up, also B tier, is Jalen Royal. Actually, no, let me read you his stats for Xavier Restrepo. So his stats are 69 receptions, 1,127 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 16.3 yards per catch. That is actually a very good stat line. He was one of the league leaders in receiving yards for college football. I'm pretty sure he's more yards than most of these guys on the list that I've already listed. But like I said before, he had the best quarterback in college football throwing to him, and he's a slot guy that the Raiders don't really need a slot. Next up, Jalen Royals. So Jalen Royals is the guy the Raiders can look to target in the later rounds, probably third round. I doubt that they would look at him in the second, but he's a receiver that's a field stretcher. Another guy that's a field stretcher, like I said before, is Trey Tucker. If the Raiders have no confidence in Trey Tucker at all, let's say Tom Brady says, you know what? I don't trust Trey Tucker. I don't want him to be our number one guy for deep balls. You know, Geno Smith, he likes to throw the ball deep a lot. So they're going to need a deep ball wide receiver like DK Metcalf on the Seahawks. Trey Tucker, what if he's not like that? Trey Tucker didn't have a great 2024 season, and taking a guy like Jalen Royal can help them out a lot. So his stats are 55 receptions, 834 yards, 15.2 yards per catch. So that's a nice stat line. He only had 852 yards, but his stats the year before were much better. He had 1,080 yards. He averaged the same 15 yards per catch, but he did have a lot more receptions. 2 years ago, he had 15 touchdowns. This year, he only had 6. So he really did take a step down, but that's all right because if the Raiders truly do need a deep ball wide receiver, I would be happy if they took Jalen Royals. All right, so next up, by the way, he's also B tier. Everyone I'm saying is B tier now. So next up, we have a guy, Alec Iomanor. So he's from Stanford, and he's a guy that a lot of people have him much higher on their draft boards than me, I have to admit. I don't think that he's going to fit into this Raiders offense as much as a lot of people, but because he did have a really good stat line, he was the true, number one receiver for Stanford, and they looked to him almost every down. He had 63 catches, 831 yards, and Iomanor is a player that really can turn into a great wide receiver if the Raiders do develop him correctly. As of right now, I wouldn't trust him and say, okay, you're our X wide receiver, go be our wide receiver one. I would say sit back a year, let Jacoby Myers teach you how to play a little bit, adjust to the NFL a little bit, and then you can give him the keys to the car almost, and you can make him your true number one wide receiver. This guy's going to be B tier. So all these guys I've listed, I want to say who the best guy is, who fits in this Raiders offense. The guy that I think fits with the Raiders the most is Tetairoa McMillan. McMillan had the best college football receiving season, in my opinion, and he fits in this Raiders offense too much to pass up on him. He's a deep ball wide receiver, but he can also, have a nice amount of speed, break a couple tackles, and he's just really a big guy. He's 6'5", like I said before, and that can really help the Raiders out and Geno Smith. He's going to be the biggest receiver on this Raiders team. And if the Raiders need someone on third down, throw it up to him. He'll catch it. He reminds me of a guy like Nico Collins. I've heard people say Mike Evans. I've heard Julio Jones. But to me, he's like a Nico Collins. If you want to look talent-wise, not how he looks into the Raiders offense, just on, they're all no height, just in general, I think Matthew Golden is the best talent-wise. But I do think Tetairoa McMillan does have a little bit of an edge on him because he's 6'5". So that's going to be it for our tier list. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you later. But this isn't going to be it for our live show for those who are watching live. We're going to stop and do a quick ad break. Then we're going to get into our next segment. Let me just get a couple stuff for our ads. All right, everybody. So here we go. We have a New York Yankees letter collage. So you have New York on the top and then you have Yankees on the bottom. The Yankees, you put like a picture in the middle of your favorite players or whatever. Doesn't have to be right now. You can see it all time. For example, these are some older Severino and Gleyber Torres. But you can do this with anything. They don't care if it's a high school, middle school. As long as they have two names, you're good. You can put the pictures on the bottom, with the actual team name. You got the city on the top or whatever. And you can do these any color, anything you want. Like I said, it could be a high school baseball team. It could be anything you want. Just as long as it does, has those features, that's great. Of course, they have some other things in stock, like Raiders ones. They have Dodgers ones. They have everything. They go for $100 each. You can check that out on their website. And that's going to be it for our ad break. So, before we get into the next part of the show, we are going to be I'm going to try to get in contact with a Giants fan and ask how much it's going to cost for the number 3 overall pick. Because I've seen people go out saying the Giants will not trade the number 1 pick at all. But then I see people saying, the Giants are really looking to trade this pick and they don't want to take a quarterback or Sanders. So if you guys want to fill the chat up with some questions, that'd be great because I want to, get some more questions in and be able to answer some more questions. So feel free to do that, please. So fill the chat up with questions. Do we have any questions in the chat? No questions yet. Please fill up the chat with questions, everyone. We really need to going here. You don't have enough in right now. But, all right, so I just want to talk about what I would think it would be to get the number 3 overall pick. So if I had to guess, the New York Giants would be looking for a nice amount of picks. If I had to guess, it would cost Raiders' 7th overall pick, Raiders' 2nd round pick this year, and then I'd say it's going to cost the 3rd and a 4th next year. This is, it's a lot to give up for, but if the Raiders are really high on a guy like Travis Hunter, I would be okay with it. I personally would not give up this much for Travis Hunter. He's not that good, but no, he's not. I'm sorry. He's very good, but I don't know if he fits in the Raiders' offense that much. I think that. But now we're going to be calling someone and talking about Alex Kappa. So I'm going to be trying to get in contact with someone. If you don't know, Alex Capa was the left guard for the Bengals last year, and then he got cut. He won the Triple Crown for being the worst offensive lineman of the year, and there is a reason why the Raiders signed him. He has connections with John Spytek and Tom Brady. They both were on that new Tom Brady Buccaneers team. I'm pretty sure they won a Super Bowl that year, and Alex Capa was the starting lineman for Tom Brady. So him and Spytek, they must have some type of connection, and I really do trust this Raiders organization. Spytek won't just bring someone in because he felt like it. He sees some type of potential in Alex Capa, and there's a reason why he did sign Alex Capa. So next thing I want to talk about just some, overall draft targets for the Raiders at number 6 overall. And at number 6 overall, the Raiders are going to be looking for a bunch of players because they have so many holes in their team, offense, defense, whatever. Some guys keep in mind, Mason Graham, he is a guy who I honestly see the Raiders taking. Will Johnson was a guy that the Raiders everyone had the Raiders taking for a while. Now, I don't think that he deserves to be in this Raiders offense only because everyone's saying that in this Raiders defense because everyone's saying he doesn't fit this team. He had a bad combine. I still think Will Johnson's a good player. I'd rather the Raiders look towards a wide receiver during the draft or a running back, and I'd rather not take a cornerback at pick 6 overall. So now we're gonna have a fan call in pretty soon. But before we say that, I'm just gonna list off a couple more names. Shedeur Sanders, he was a guy the Raiders had. Everyone had the Raiders taking at number 6 if he fell to them. Some people had the Raiders trading up for him. Now most people don't even think Shedeur is gonna go to the Raiders at number 6. Tetairoa McMillan, Ashton Jeanty, Shedeur Sanders, Mason Graham, and this guy from Missouri. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm pretty sure. I don't even know. His first name's something with an A, but I don't know how to pronounce it. He's an offensive lineman from Missouri, and he is a nice player, but I'd rather the Raiders take a skilled player position on offense. So we're having a Giants fan call up now. Let's see if they answered.
Hello, what's going on, guys?
Hello. So you are live right now on the Real Crazy News Raiders. So I just want to ask you a question about a draft. So I hear you're a Giants fan. Is that correct?
I thought this was about Alex Capa.
Oh, all right. I called the wrong guy. Whatever. Okay, so Alex Capa, right? You're a Bengals fan then.
Yeah.
So you're a Bengals fan. Can you tell me what you saw at Alex Capa last year?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. He was like awful, bro. He shouldn't even be a starter. If he's being a starter for the Raiders offensive line, y'all are so cooked. I don't even know what to say. If you like his PFF grades, he is below average in nearly everything. Like, bro, I don't even know what to tell y'all. Y'all are so cooked for this season. Oh my god.
Sir.
I'm sorry we got rid of him. We literally cut him because he was so bad.
Yeah, but do you have any things to say about him, in general? What's so bad about him? What is he doing so bad?
Well, he gives up a lot of sacks. He can't pass block. He's okay at run blocking, but he's given up 8 sacks in the season. That's ridiculous. That's like 100 compared to the rest of the offensive line. Bro, there's nothing good to say about this guy. He sucked. We cut him because he was an awful player. I don't know what else to tell you.
All right. So thank you so much for what you said. Thank you.
He's a white guy too.
Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. That guy was terrible. He was terrible, if you want me to be honest. But overall, I think that he was talking too badly about Alex Capa. I don't think that he's as bad as everyone's saying, only because they wouldn't just take him because they felt like it. John Spytek and Tom Brady, they see a reason to take Alex Capa and to sign him. Like I said before, I really do trust this organization. The most trust I've ever had in any Raiders organization. And I think this year is going to be a shock and put the league on notice. If I had to pick who the Raiders are taking number 6 overall, it's going to be to trade down. So trading down, you can maybe trade down to pick number 10, pick number 9, and you can still get your guy. Like, so far, it's the top guy on the Raiders' big board is most likely Ashton Genty. You could look at Tedero McMillan, and you could also look at a guy like Matthew Golden. If the Raiders do trade down to number 10 overall, which is the Chicago Bears, the trade would likely be Raiders get the 10th overall pick, they get the Bears second, they get the Bears fourth, and they get the Bears third next year. This is a good trade for the Raiders. I really do like it. Maybe the Bears are paying a little bit too much. Maybe it'll be a little bit less, but it would be something around there. And if I were the Raiders, I would do this because think about it. You're gonna have 2 second-round picks. You're gonna have a first-round pick. You're most likely gonna still be able to get your guy in either Ashton Genty or Tedero McMillan, and you're just gonna get more draft capital by doing it. I've seen mock drafts where the Raiders don't take Tedero McMillan or Ashton Genty, and both of them fall to like picks 20. This is why I would really trade down, and I would love it because you're going to get an extra second. You might get an extra third next year, and you're getting one of the best players in the draft in Tedero McMillan and Ashton Genty. Overall, I think that if the Raiders did take a guy at number 6, it would be either an offensive lineman or it would be Tedero McMillan. A lot of people see Ashton Genty going to the Raiders, but I really don't know about it. I know that John Spytek wants to win in the trenches, and I know that he likes, a good offensive lineman, and the Raiders do need an offensive lineman still. A guy like Will Campbell, if he falls, or the guy from Missouri, his name starts with an A. I still don't know how to pronounce it. Armandou or something his first name is. I don't know how to pronounce it. But if the Raiders did take a guy at number 6 overall, if I had the choice, I would take Tedero McMillan. But if I had the choice to trade down would happen right away. So, do we have any questions in the chat? Because that's kind of all we had for our segment. But if we have some draft questions, that'd be great. It appears we have no questions. So that guy that we called earlier, I know that he's just like a sports fan overall. He's very into it. Like I know him personally, and he talks about all teams very good. So maybe I can try to get him on right now to talk about the Giants. I'm sure he's watching the stream right now, so I'm just gonna try to get him to come on right now and talk about how much it would cost to get the number 3 overall pick. So just give me 1 second. And we're going to call him real quick and see how he feels about taking a trade from the Raiders. Sir?
Hello?
Sir?
Hello?
Sir?
Yes.
Everyone's asking, can the Giants trade the number 3 overall pick to the Raiders?
Well, it depends. What are you thinking about giving up?
Well, the Raiders, we'd give our first. We'd probably give our second next year. And what if we gave second this year? And what if we gave a third next year?
So, a first, second, and third. I'm just afraid that the Raiders might be too good next year to have a good first-round pick.
You're afraid that the Raiders are going to be too good?
I mean, if that's how you want to say it, but they're not going to have the 6th overall pick. They might have 10th, 15th pick, but do you want to give up the 3rd overall pick for
what are you
15th
talking
pick
about?
in the first round?
Sir, what are you talking about?
You're saying that the Raiders are going to trade next year's 21st or this year's
This
first?
year's first, the 6th overall pick.
Oh, okay. It's not terrible, but I just think that the Giants need a quarterback. And
So you think they're going to take Shedeur Sanders or a guy like Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart?
If they're getting Dart or Milroe, they have no reason to stay at 3. So I think they would trade down in that situation. But if Shedeur's on the board, I would take Shedeur any day.
Really, even though a lot of people have Shedeur Sanders falling to the Raiders and the Raiders even passing on him.
I mean, listen, I still think he's a great quarterback. His father played in the NFL. He was awesome. He's got a work ethic. He works with Tom Brady. Actually, that's another reason he would be good with the Raiders. But if the Raiders don't want him, I mean, listen, I think they have the chance to have the third overall pick. I don't think they're going to pass on that. They're just going to roll with it and then they'll take Shedeur, and if they really don't like Shedeur, just best player available, since they have some good players.
Who, the Raiders or the Giants?
I'm saying that the Giants.
Oh, so you think the Giants will take Shedeur Sanders?
It's either Shedeur or best player available. I think you would trade it away unless they're getting an absolute road.
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
Is there?
All right, so you heard it yourself. The Giants would not trade the number 3 overall pick unless it's for a lot of picks. They're looking to stay at number 3 and take a generational talent pick. Travis Hunter, best player available, most likely at number 3 overall, and the best quarterback available is most likely Shedeur Sanders. Giants need a quarterback, and if the Giants do need a quarterback, I can see Shedeur Sanders going to them at number 3 overall. A lot of people have, the Giants and the Raiders passing on him, but I really don't see that happening because I still think that a lot of people have Shedeur Sanders as a number 2 quarterback in this draft. Look at Michael Penix last year. No one expected him to go to the Falcons at, I'm pretty sure, number 7 overall. What if the Giants are like, you know what? We need a quarterback. We're taking Shedeur Sanders. Or look at what they did with Barkley. They took him 3rd overall, I'm pretty sure, and they just took him because there's a big need. Everyone said that the Giants reached on him and took him too quick. But what if Shedeur turns into a guy like Saquon Barkley? So if we don't get any more questions in, we are going to be saying goodbye, and we're just going to end the stream right now because we're really not in. I see the 12s in the comments. If you could get one question in, that would be very helpful. But as we're getting those questions in, we're going to do a quick Tivoli ad break. Yet again, Tivoli's right here. We have our letter collage here. But I'm going to go get another piece that they do real quick. So here's another thing that Tivoli does. So while I'm doing this, yet again, please get your comments in. If anyone has a comment. Just type them in the comments or just type them, all right? So here we go. We have a Luke Hughes signed puck with his rookie card. So this goes for, the price varies because of many things. One, it depends what size you're looking to do, what type of matting. Right here, this is a shadow box with some nice framing. And you have the signed puck and the rookie card. This price would vary because, signed pucks, they usually don't have those in stock all the time. And the rookie cards, that's rare to have both of them in stock at the same time. So if you would want something like this, you would have to contact Tivoli themselves and say, hey, I'm looking to get a Tim Brown signed jersey framed, and we can either see if the Tivoli has them in stock, or the Tivoli can look to buy one and then frame it just for you. So if we don't have any questions, I'm just going to wrap it up. Any other questions? The 12s, do you have a question for me? Maybe? No questions, I guess. Oh, wait, here's one right here. Hold on, it's coming through right now. What do you think the Raiders' record's going to be? So, the Raiders' record, if I had to guess, completely honest, as of this team right now, I'm going to say 7-10. I think the Raiders are going to get at least 7 wins with Pete Carroll, just because look at his career. He's never really had that bad of a season. With Seattle, he had a winning record almost every year, and he's going to bring that attitude to Las Vegas. Max Crosby, he doesn't want to lose. None of these players want to lose. They're building this team on players that love football. John Spytek, he's got a plan, and he's executing it perfectly. The Raiders are really going to try to win now, and they've been sticking to that theory by trading for Geno Smith, they're trading for away to Devontae Adams, but they're really just trying to get guys that love football and that want to be on this Raiders offense. We have another question coming through, and it's how do you feel about Geno Smith? So Geno Smith, I actually like him a lot. I think he's a top 10 quarterback in the league. Some people think I'm crazy, but I think he's definitely top 15. If I had to choice Geno Smith or Sam Darnold, I'm taking Geno Smith in a heartbeat. Only because Geno Smith, he's shown that he can do it. He's played, 3 years with Pete Carroll or 2 years, and Pete Carroll really revived his career. So, Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, they can really turn this Raiders team to the next level and help this Raiders team out. Last question coming through. Do you think that it was a good trade that the Raiders traded Devontae Adams? If I had to guess, I don't have to guess because I know it was a great thing to trade Devontae Adams. If we waited any longer, he's going for a 4th-round pick max. This is because the Jets cut him. We got a 3rd-round pick for a player who got cut the next year, and we got rid of most of his salary, and we got an extra 3rd-round pick, which was Geno Smith. We traded the 3rd-round pick for Devontae Adams for a top 10 quarterback in the league. Not a lot of people realize that. Trading for Devontae Adams was a good thing. The Raiders were supposed to go all the way in 2021. Then everything blew up. But I think that we got good value and the best value that we really could for Devontae. And I'm happy that we traded him then to the Jets and not this season to another team. So that is going to be it for our live show. Thank you all so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. I'm happy you're all tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe. We're going to have a lot more videos coming out lately. Have a great day, and I'll see you later.